Hi guys, it's been a while. I know I haven't posted videos in a long time, but lots of things have been happening at home and finding the time to script, record and edit has been tough. But I still want to post videos where I can. I think a standard talking head format like this should make it a lot easier and is going to be the way forward. But let's not waste any more time, let's dive into the video. So this year is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold2 released in 2020. Z Fold4 came out not too long ago. That cost 2.5 grand in Aussie dollars, which is about 1.6k US dollars. And honestly, it doesn't look too different to what I have here. So then, if you're after a foldable, should you just buy the Z Fold2? Well, you're about to find out. I bought this phone for 800 Aussie dollars off Gumtree, which is an Aussie version of Craigslist, about a month ago. Great deal. The phone was in like new condition with all the plastic stickers still on it. Personally, I've been on a bit of a phone enlightenment journey. The last couple of years I've been switching between the Galaxy S10e, a Z Flip 3, a Pixel 5, LG V50, and of course all the other phones I've reviewed. Along with that, I've also dabbled or seen a need for a tablet in my life for browsing, shopping and consuming content on a larger screen. So I actually bought a Galaxy Tab Active 3 for that purpose, which I've actually since sold, so I can't show you live, but while I love the big screen to do all that I've mentioned, perhaps I'm just lazy, but half the time it was just so much effort for me to just reach out my arms to grab the tablet off the charging station to use, and that's kind of where the Fold 2 just shines, but not too brightly. More on that a little bit later on. So then firstly, let's talk about the externals. Straight up, it's a thick boy when folded. That's 16.8mm, which is two phones sandwiched together, and it's an absolute brick. You definitely will feel it in your pocket. Guys like me, we're used to carrying around large thick objects in our pants. You might take some time to get used to it. Yeah, that's a lie. On the outer screen, we have a 6.23 Super AMOLED with Gorilla Glass Victus. It's 60Hz unfortunately, but it's a good resolution at 1768 by 2208. It does give it an odd aspect ratio of 25:9. So my thoughts on the outer screen, it's actually quite narrow. For context, it's 159mm tall and 68mm wide. And if you use a case on your phone like I do, you'll find yourself doing mistypes, particularly on that left side of the keyboard. Otherwise, it is usable, but yeah, it's just something to be aware of. The inner screen is a lovely 7.6 inch AMOLED at 120Hz with HDR10+, and it's buttery smooth. Watching content on it is an absolute joy. I found myself progressively using it more and more. I'm no stranger to watching videos while I'm on the dunny. There, I said it. And I know you do too. In fact, you might be on the loo right now, smiling as you watch this, so give me a like and subscribe. Anyway, back to that inner screen. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the cool tiles that the new Z Fold 4 has. That makes it really like a tablet, but the centered buttons worked out for me. Now, that fold, I've pretty much adjusted to it, but if you're looking for it, you're gonna know that it's there. It hasn't bothered me from day-to-day use. In regards to screen feel, there is definitely a more softer plastic feel to the inner screen, which I've managed to indent a little with my fingernails by accident. That's just the nature of the screen. Now onto its specs. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 5G, which is on the 7nm plus silicon. Plenty of snappy is what you would expect from Snapdragon. The model I have here is 256GB, but it also comes in 512. Both sizes come with 12GB of RAM, which is more than enough for every user possible. Then you get all the standard flagship bells and whistles. So Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5, NFC, wireless charging. The phone does miss an IPX rating that the new Z Fold does have. I've personally been really pushing my luck bringing it to the beach. There's nothing worse than getting grains of sand in the fold mechanism and hearing that indefinite crunch every time I open my phone. Luckily, I've been able to keep it safe. So I'll just touch on the software really quickly. It's currently on One UI 4.1, Android 12, which I believe Android 13 is just around the corner. It's a very Samsung experience if you own one or have owned a Samsung smartphone before. I think compared to other Android implementations, they probably get it closest to right. I still think it's annoying that you expect to sign into a Samsung account to do certain things, which I have not and refuse to do. A Google account is enough. The tiles on the outer screen and inner screen need to be personalized separately, which does take a little bit more time at the start, but that's just the nature of the beast. Samsung DeX, their desktop mode is always a joy to use, and I would highly recommend to people who want to achieve the holy trinity of devices, a phone, tablet, and desktop PC. Also keep in mind that this model itself does support wireless DeX. I did a video on it, which you can watch up here on the wired version of DeX obviously. Probably a good time for me to do an update on that as well. The inner screen also supports split screen, which is great for multitaskers. You can watch a YouTube video and read an article at the same time with a limit of 3 screens in total. It's easily toggled from the side of the phone, which is a great implementation. Now, not all apps are going to be perfect on that inner screen. Instagram, for example, you need to deal with black borders on the side, but you'll survive. My emails were previously set to preview mode, but switching between the front screen and inner screen would screw around and make my email list unreadable, which would require close and restart of the app, and other apps like AliExpress would also require the same to get back into full screen. These are definitely more minor inconveniences than deal breakers, but it does detract from the otherwise very fluid experience. So onto those cameras. So it's a triple camera setup. I'll throw the specs up on screen. They weren't the most groundbreaking cameras at the time. I think even the S20, which was released earlier that year, had a stronger camera setup. They definitely do the job, and you won't be disappointed unless you take your photography pretty seriously. Video is good or average as far as current gen cameras go. As always, Samsung has some pretty solid pro video settings baked in. I'm also a big fan of that portrait video mode, which allows you to create some of that fake bokeh as you would normally get with a low aperture lens. Implementation is obviously not as good as the real deal. And I also believe that the implementation using the cinematic mode on iPhones is better, whilst also allowing different points of focus rather than just the fixed facial detection that Samsung has. Selfie cameras are also relatively good. There is one on the outside and on the inner screen, both with the same spec 10 megapixel f2.2 26mm, which supports HDR and up to 4K 30 frames per second. One area which I think the Z Fold4 has gone backwards is with that under display camera. Sure, it looks cool, but I've personally grown so used to the hole punch camera that I don't even notice it anymore, and I think those more active on social media would probably appreciate the higher quality camera. All in all, I think the main and selfie cameras still perform well in 2022, but I would rate them at a high-end 2019 flagship phone level. So the Z Fold2 has a 4500 mAh battery with 25 watt fast charging and 11 watts of wireless charging. It also supports reverse wireless charging at 4.5 watts if you have buds or any device that needs to borrow its juice. The 4500 mAh is pretty average in size, and I found it got me through a day, just a day. I generally have 5G turned off and 85% charge limit to preserve its long-term health, and only on heavier media consumption days have I been able to get it close to empty. If you're a heavy user, I'll suggest the power save mode, which limits the screen to 60Hz and maybe cap the CPU at 70%. So in other words, I'm not sure if this phone is going to be for you if you're a gamer. Apologies to skip through some of the details of the phone. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section down below and I'll be happy to give you an answer on it since it is my daily driver phone. Now, a few questions I would need to answer. Would I recommend the Galaxy Z Fold2? Yes, but that depends on you. So my goal was to introduce a tablet in my life, and the best way to do that was combining both my phone and tablet into one device. If you're a smaller tablet user, say sub 10 inch, this might be the ultimate combination phone for you. But do keep in mind it's got its shortcomings, and if you're coming from a smaller phone, you're really going to feel its thickness and weight. Now, fold durability, if it was the original Z Fold, I'll be a bit concerned. This one, I've got almost a full protective case on it, so I'm less worried about physically damaging it, as long as I keep it away from water and sand. But we'll have to wait and see on the hinge durability. I'm confident that it will be fine, but you just never know. I'll definitely update if I ever come into issues, but as you would probably know, these foldables always bear that risk. If you're buying pre-owned, I'll try to buy from a reputable seller with some form of warranty, even if it's just a seller one. So the last question, what about the Z Fold4? That's a very easy one for me. At its current price comparatively with the Z Fold2, so that's 2.5 grand Aussie dollars versus 800 Aussie dollars, like new pre-owned, I would probably grab the Z Fold2. The updates to me over the last couple of years are quite minor. If I just sum it up with the fewest words possible, slightly smaller body, slightly better screens, newer Snapdragon chip, upgraded main cameras, IPX rating. Otherwise, the core features are nearly identical, and only with specific use cases may you actually pick up on these differences from day to day. So that's all from me. I'm quite happy with the Z Fold2 for now, and I'll continue to use it as my daily driver. So I've just got some new gear, and I hope to ease back into a more regular posting schedule. So thank you again for supporting this channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.